said, "I just want to say I'm really sorry," and that's it.
Those were the last words of convicted murderer and rapist Billy Ray Irick.
He was pronounced dead at 7:48 p.m. at Nashville's Riverbend Maximum Security Institution. For the first time in 9 years, a death row inmate is executed in Tennessee.
And for the first time in 32 years, the family of 7-year-old Paula Dyer experienced the justice a jury doled out decades ago.
We have live team coverage for you of the execution of Billy Ray Irick, and we're going to begin with News Channel 5's Jason Lamb, who's been following this story for us all week. Jason.
That's right, and with Riverbend Maximum Security Institution right back here, Billy Ray Irick is dead tonight. Some say this day couldn't come soon enough. Others, of course, say the death penalty in Tennessee should be done away with. But it is the law of the land in this state, and 7 media witnesses got to witness the whole thing. We heard what Billy Ray Irick's final words were tonight.
It was asked what Mr. Irick's last words would be, and initially he appeared to sigh and say no, and then said, "I just want to say I'm really sorry," and that's it.
We are told at 7:27 tonight, Irick closed his eyes then, closed them for an extended period of time, with Irick steadily snoring or breathing heavily, and his stomach was pulsating. 2 men in black suits were in the execution chamber with Irick at the time. The warden then checked to see if Irick was conscious, which he was not. Then the other 2 drugs were administered, the drugs that would stop his breathing and his heart. We're told he breathed heavily at that point, but then stopped, his face growing deeper shades of purple as he was quiet and still for what the witnesses said was a while. Again, Irick was pronounced dead at 7:48 this evening. One of the witnesses talked to us about the procedure outlined in the manual to check if Irick was responsive after administering the drug that would make him unconscious.
It was very surreal to watch it, and in some ways it does not look like a killing in some ways, but you know that's what you're watching, and that is what is going to be difficult. I will remember for a long time the warden shouting his name while he laid there. He shouted Billy, Billy, and he was laying there on the gurney. That was tough to watch, but the whole process was hard to watch.
And again, that is the exact procedure that was outlined in the state's 99-page lethal injection protocol manual. Of course, there has been some controversy over the 3 drugs used to kill Irick tonight. Irick was denied a last-minute stay by the U.S. Supreme Court in this case, but Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissented in this, saying it's possible the drugs might have caused Irick to suffer. She said, quote, "If the law permits this execution to go forward, in spite of the horrific final minutes that Irick may well experience, then we have stopped being a civilized nation and accepted barbarism." The family of Paula Dyer was also invited to speak in front of media members tonight. The family declined that request for right now. We're live in Nashville tonight. Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
All right, Jason, thank you for that detailed account. There was also some noise outside the prison walls as that death sentence was carried out. People gathered to pray for the convicted killer. News Channel 5's Brandon Marshall was there.
Rory, opponents of tonight's execution say it was unnecessary and served no useful purpose. But people for the execution say this was long overdue and justice was finally served.
How about your daughter, 7 years old? It could have been your daughter.
I mean, the Catholic Church teaches that even in the presence of heinous crimes, the person who committed the crimes retains a fundamental dignity and is made in the image of God and is capable of redemption. Therefore, the execution of a person, even one guilty of a terrible crime, is an offense against God and an offense against the dignity of the person.
People gathered on different sides of a fence in a field outside of Riverbend Maximum Security Institution. This comes as Billy Ray Irick, who was convicted of raping and murdering 7-year-old Paula Dyer more than 30 years ago. About 60 opponents gathered in a circle for a candlelight vigil, moment of silence, and prayed for both Irick's and Dyer's family. They say what he did was a heinous crime, but all human life essentially should be spared. One man for the execution repeatedly shouted, "What if it was your daughter?" Another played the song Hell's Bells by AC/DC, saying it was a fitting song for what Irick did to Dyer.
When you look at what Billy Ray Irick did, was he raped a 7-year-old girl and then strangled her until the blood vessels in her eyes burst. That deserves an execution.
Many say that they hope the death penalty will finally be taken out of law, will eventually be taken out of law here in Tennessee, the United States, and then around the globe. The next scheduled execution in Tennessee will happen on October 11th, when Edmund Zargowski will be put to death for a double murder back in 1983. We're at the 5 Alert Center tonight. Brandon Marshall, News Channel 5.